In my memory, I think they are all old women and they all wear in black.
They wear like long, narrow eyes, and the eager noses and open, creepy smiles.
Dark hair. Yes, this is the first assumption.
I think it's true. Yeah, they did exist in the historical time, and I think it's better to believe than not to believe. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think they all have magic, but I don't think so. I think they may see some ghost and soul, maybe.
Witches really existed, especially if you look at the history of Great Britain. There are lots of legends and fairy tales about sorcery, about witches.
Buds in bloom, full of promise. The cold is gone and here comes the spring. Dawning sun heralds the future.
I was born and raised in Croydon, which is in South London, a town in South London, and that is where the annual International Witch Conference is held. I was always kind of the weird kid that had witchy friends. So in those days they called them goths and hippies. I was always interested in the occult and mysteries of life like astrology and tarot reading and the ghost world, the world of the paranormal and things that we don't understand. So I've always been interested in that. For example, there are bookshops in London that are dedicated to the occult and witchcraft and witch events. And once you start to get into that and meet the people there, it's quite a small community. So you meet your people, basically. And yeah, I think that's how I kind of found my way. Do I believe witches truly exist? Absolutely, yeah. But it does depend how we define witches. So, if we define witches as people who have magical powers or divinatory powers or healing powers, then absolutely, I believe they exist. Now, in terms of doing magic for harm, so the witches that were persecuted in the early modern witch trials were accused of doing harm. And although I do think it's possible to do magic for harm, I don't think that it was true that these women and men as well who were persecuted during this time were actually doing harm in most cases. I think they were just scapegoated victims.
Liu Sawyer was born in 1572 in a small parish in Edmonton, West London. She was largely ostracized and isolated within her local community. Like many women of the time, she found herself accused of witchcraft. As a center of religious, political, and social dynamics, London was home to numerous witch trials, beyond Elizabeth Sawyer's infamous case. Witchcraft accusations were often used as tools for controlling dissent, asserting authority, and addressing social tensions. These trials exposed the intricate relationship between religion, politics, and societal force. This accusation was enough to bring Elizabeth to trial at the Old Bailey, one of London's most renowned criminal courts. In the early 17th century, amidst a period of intense witch hunts, many witchcraft trials were held here. As a center of religious, political, and social dynamics, London was home to numerous witch trials, beyond Elizabeth Sawyer's infamous case. Witchcraft accusations were often used as tools for controlling dissent, asserting authority, and addressing social tensions. These trials exposed the intricate relationship between religion, politics, and societal force. Elizabeth Sawyer was executed in 1621 at the Tyburn Gallows. Tyburn Gallows, infamous for public hangings, her execution was a grim reflection of the era's treatment of women accused of witchcraft. Elizabeth Sawyer made a statement or confession before her execution. Historical records indicate she expressed remorse and claimed her confession was to clear her conscience and prepare her soul for death. At the gallows, the executioner placed a noose around her neck. She was hanged by being hoisted and pushed off a cart. Death was caused by strangulation rather than a swift drop, making it a slow and painful process. Known as the Timer Tree, this gallows was not merely a place for criminal punishment, but symbolized the oppressive treatment of women like Elizabeth, who were scapegoated for their gender appearance, and it reflected society's deep fears. Prejudices touching these marginalized, such as women, could defy societal expectations.
My little vinegar Tom, dear little lamb. He was always curling up on my lap when it was cold outside and the rain was lashing down. Dear little puppy was. I wonder who will feed him when I'm gone. I hope the poor thing shan't starve. Because people, I hate people, and I don't trust them. That Agnes Ratcliffe, she was always one of them mocking types. I've known her since a girl. She sought out to destroy me, and she has. Told everyone I was a witch, that my afflictions were evidence of my wickedness. I've always had this problem with my back, and I've never been much to look at, but I just wanted to be let alone. I wanted to be left in peace, but no, that wouldn't do for Agnes, would it? That wouldn't do for my village. They all tormented me.
So she was actually immortalised in a play that was called The Witch of Edmonton. And that was put on just after her execution. And it was a famous play. I think the last time it was actually put in a theatre was in the 1980s or something. So really, really recent.
I firmly believe that modern witch trials still take place. I'm a 43-year-old woman who is happily single and childless. And I often experience some family members and my married friends or friends that are mothers often don't understand my choices and either treat me with sympathy, sort of checking whether that's what I want, or they might look down on me for not understanding what it is to be a mother, like the profundity of it. Those challenges are constant, I think, for all of us as women. And she is one of many women who was sadly living at a time of great intolerance just for being different. So I relate to her struggle in being and living a different life to that which society expects.
I think we absolutely need witches now, more than ever, especially with what is happening in the world. You know, even though we're moving towards, I hope we are moving towards a kinder world and a more feminine-based world with more feminine values rather than male. Well, I would like to create a witch tour and not just about, you know, scary elements or, you know, about pointy hats and all the stereotypes. I wanted to talk about, from the women's perspective, you know, what actually happened and why it happened. So that's why I started writing Hex and the City, my witch tour of London. I launched it at Halloween in 2021. And it was just really successful. Everybody loved it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to write more tours about forgotten women's stories.
As a woman, you are infinitely powerful. Don't try to be something you're not. And I think really this is what it truly means to be a witch. Knowing yourself, knowing your power, and kindly but firmly, you know, exercising that power. Witch is an all-woman everything. If you are a woman and dare to look within yourself, you are a witch. You make your own rules. You are free and beautiful. You can be invisible or evident in how you choose to make your witch self known. Women are bright, brave, beautiful and fierce. If you are a woman, you are a witch. We are all witch, and we are everywhere. Witch lives and laughs in every woman. She is the free part of each of us.